Okay, hello teacher and classmates. My name is Jorge Castillo, and in this video, we're gonna talk about natural approach. And you are wondering, what is natural approach? Natural approach was developed by Tracy Terrell and supported by Stephen Krashen. And natural approach is for learner beginners, and it is based on observation and interpretation on how human acquires his or her native language. And according to Igner, this is a scientific magazine. It is a language teaching approach, which claims that language learning is a reproduction of the way of humans naturally acquire their native language. And also, for this approach, language is considering as a vehicle for communicating meaning and the messages. And in this moment, I'm gonna give you some characteristics that call my attention of this approach. There is no grammar structure. This is very important because this approach is focused more on communication and oral production instead of learn all of the grammar structure. The next one is natural order. This approach respects the order of the communication because according to this, you have to learn first of all the present, then the past, and finally you talk in a future way. The next one is the input. The input means that you have to be around of a good environment. In this case, the English environment. During the class, the teacher has to speak you just in English. You try to communicate with your classmates in English. It doesn't matter if you make some mistake, because the teacher with this realize that you are learning, because the mistakes means learn according to this approach. And the last one is the affective filter. The first one is self-confidence. Learners with self-confidence tends to be more successful. The next one is motivation. Students with a good motivations are more successful. And finally, low anxiety. A student with low anxiety will get better results at the moment that they are acquiring the English language. That is all for my part. The next one is going to be my classmate, Debbie Campaña. Please continue, Debbie.
Okay, here we have the roles, the teacher roles and the student roles. The teacher has three central roles. The first is expose the target language. That is to say, the teacher is the primary source of comprehensible input in target language. The second is provide a material with non-linguistic clues. That is to say, the teacher is required to generate a constant flow of language input while providing a multiplicity of non-linguistic clues to assist a student in interpret to the input. It is according to the needs and interests of the students. Okay, the third is create a friendly and interesting atmosphere. That is to say, the teacher should to create this because the student has affective filter low for to learn, and the students feel comfortable and to develop the speaking skill to communicate with other students. In the students' roles, we have the students speak when they feel ready. That is to say, the language acquired, in this case, the student, it seems a processor of comprehensible input. That is why when the students feels ready, we will feel ready to speak. And in this case, this is the process, okay? At the beginning, the student will decide when to speak. And after decide what to speak, and the final, the student produce an oral language with a stress or with linguistic expression, okay? And in oral production has three stages. These are pre-production. This is students participating in language activity without having to respond in the target language. For example, the students cannot add physical commands or identify the student college or from teacher description and another things. In the second stage, we have early production. In this stage, students respond to either our question simples using single words. For example, can respond questions such as what is your names, how are you, or something like that. In the third stage, we have a speech emergent. Here, students involves in role played and games, contribute personal information and opinions, and participate in group with communication, with communicate your personal information, okay? And in this role, the students should be active and participate during the class. The next slide, please. Okay, in materials, the primary goal of materials in natural approach is to make classroom activities as meaningful as possible by supplying the extra linguistic context that helps the acquired to understand and thereby to acquire. For example, in natural approach, the teacher can use the realia. The realia are materials we can find in the context of the class. For example, things, maps, and brochures, advertisements, or another things we can use to create a communication with the students. The idea is the students feel in the environment, in the environment real to communicate with other students. Next.
Well, in this part, I'm going to talk about advantages and disadvantages of this approach. Advantages. It is a very good and efficient approach in learning of the beginner levels. Number two, it is adapted to interests and needs of the student. And the last one, this offer many activities to do, and at the same time, he had a great variety of the techniques. The last one, disadvantages. And the most important of these disadvantages, for me, it is there is no grammar and it can be a problem. Number two, it generally focuses on first levels. And number three, it is to develop basic communication skill. And the last one, this method doesn't have many adaptation for the students. The next one, please. And here I have an example of this approach. An example could be having didactic material according to their level. In this case, I can put a doll or puppet and put up and do a performance. And in this way, the attention of the students can be better and it can be captured in a good and fun way. And here I have some examples and I can explanation, okay? And the teacher uses a doll or puppet and to facilitate listening and speaking comprehension. And thank you, teacher.
Okay, teacher, that was all for our presentation. Thank you for your attention and bye. Ya vean.
¿Ya le detuviste la grabación?
Ahorita